What's up, guys? Gen Express here. I know it's been a while. But today is a big day because today we're going to close a chapter. I'm going to close a chapter in my life, and I want you to be here to see it. Okay? Now, I'm going to turn the camera around to show it. If you're any kind of fan or have followed me for the last year, or a year and a half, or however long I've been on, you will recall that last year, August 20th, I had a very traumatic event happen in my life where I was illegally detained, cuffed, belittled, forced to erase my camera footage under threat of arrest, illegally trespassed from this post office right over here. So, now look, guys, I'm going to give you the whole story today. I've been quiet about a lot of things, but today it's all going to come out, okay? This event has, as you know, scarred my life. It scarred my life. This hand right here, these two fingers, they have no feeling at all. You'll see me in my videos, I don't use them as much because it hurts to use them. So, and also I can't do any art. My handwriting's terrible, which I used to do art all the time. So all that happened to me on a day that was just wrong. It was wrong. It doesn't matter why I was out here, okay? I was out here to hold government officials accountable to see if they know the laws and the rules, and they didn't that day. Now, the interesting part, I'll show you exactly, we'll lay it out how it happened, okay? That way you guys can see the whole story, because I never got the body cam footage because they never sent it to me after several requests, never got responded to after complaints to the Shelby County Sheriff's Department, who treated me that way that day. But we'll just go back through what happened, okay? You see that flagpole right up there? I'm going to stay off the property because apparently I still have 19 days left on a trespass from this place. But what we're going to hope happens today is that we get some accountability. I want to talk to one of these Shelby County Sheriff's Department people about why they did what they did to me, and also if this trespass is even legal and if they're going to try to enforce it. I want to find out all those things today. I haven't been back out here because it's been too traumatic for me to come back out here, to be honest. I'm a Gen Xer, and I kind of I've sat on this thing and sat on this thing, and we're not going to sit on it anymore. Hi, Karen. Okay, so what happened that day? August 20th of last year, I came to this post office right here to do a practice of my First Amendment rights and see if they respected my ability to record in public. You know what we do. So that day, the police were called by, I don't know who they were called by either. Okay, I can't get any information. I know there's a Karen that went in there who saw me outside of the post office standing by this flagpole. That's how far away I was from the entrance, okay? And she went in and saw me at that window right there, saw me recording, and her little Karen ass called the police. Now, before you do that, before you do things like that, before you decide you want to call the police on somebody with a camera in their fucking hand, you better understand what can happen, okay? Because it happened to me. They illegally detained me right up here. I freaked the fuck out because I had some anxiety issues at the time. And they, under threat of arrest, they force ID'd me, trespassed me, forced me to delete all my footage, which the dumbasses didn't check to see if I'd really deleted it. I deleted it, but you could recover it from the trash, which I did. Okay? So after all the kerfuffle up here, right up here, they called the ambulance out because my blood pressure was ridiculously high. These guys right over here from the fire department came over and checked me out, and they were cool as shit. And I told them that I think I was okay, that I think I could be okay, even though they were worried about me. And they sat there and waited for the blood pressure to go down, 15 minutes or so. Finally, they left. I dealt with the cops, who, I want to clarify, a sergeant was the one who had me under threat of arrest delete my video footage. Okay? So, from there, I didn't want to get arrested that day. I could have pushed it. But to be honest, I was a little nervous about my health because I knew I was very high. I was just not expecting to be treated the way I was treated, okay? So that led to an increased blood pressure, increased pulse, and all that. So anyway, I talked to them for a minute, and then I complied with their demand to leave the property after I signed a trespass warrant, okay? So that's what happened. I left. They were still sitting up here discussing how much they had violated my rights, the fuckers. They knew they had. And I walked down through here, wished them farewell, walked down this sidewalk right here. Now you see that First Citizens Bank sign right over there? Right when I got to that sign, all feeling in my right side went away. My entire right side went numb, including my leg and my arm. I knew at this point I was in trouble. I knew it. I was like, I'm going to die here today. So I turned around immediately and went back and flagged down the police. They were still sitting up there, laughing at me and discussing how they fucking violated my rights. They called the fucking fire department back out because they knew I needed help. They came over. They did their job as far as that goes. They came over and tried to assist me. And then when the paramedics showed up, they said this was an unrelated call to what just happened. They said it was unrelated. So I laid down here, right down here, not able to feel my right arm or my right leg, completely numb. They took me to the emergency room where it was confirmed I had a stroke. This hand was not useful for at least a couple of months, I had to go get rehab on it. But the point is, I've had a lot of people telling me that I was asking for trouble for coming out here and doing this. And to you guys, I say this right here, okay? Because what I'm doing right now, whether you think so or not, is protecting every one of us out here. Every single one of us it's protecting. Because we got to get these cops who don't know what the hell they're doing off the streets, okay? Now, let's go to part 2 of the story, okay? Everybody thinks I was trying to sue the Shelby County Sheriff's Department because I was trying to get a lawsuit. Think again, buddy, okay? Think again. I called attorneys all over the place. Most attorneys don't want to touch it. They don't want to deal with this. They don't want to deal with police violating people's rights because it affects them. That's how powerful the police are. Okay, so they didn't want to. A lot of them didn't even want to touch my case, even though online a lot of Southern draw law. These guys, a couple of other people shared my video, and they said, "Yeah, you got a pretty massive lawsuit there." And people told me, "Sue the shit out of these people. That's the only way they learn." Okay, so me and my lovely, beautiful wife went hunting for an attorney, and we found one. Now, we're going to bear all today, okay? Because what my attorney did to me was pretty fucked up too, okay? My attorney, Andre Wharton, huge civil rights law group right here in Memphis. As a matter of fact, Andre Wharton is the nephew of Mayor Wharton. So, when I talked to him after all this went down and I got out of the hospital, and he told me he was going to take this case pro bono. I was like, okay, cool, maybe there'll be some justice here. Numbers were never talked about. No numbers were ever talked about. But he seemed to think that I had a solid case, and that he would take the case. Okay, so let's fast forward to about 2 months ago. I haven't heard from my attorney in God knows when. Okay, he's not keeping up with me. And everybody out there, and all you guys are telling me, what's going on with your case? What's going on with your case? Why hasn't anything happened? And I just thought, because I'll tell you, I admit it right off the bat that I'm a dumbass about certain things, okay? But I thought that I was taken care of, okay? I thought I could set this in the back of my mind, forget about it, and move on. That something was going to be done. At a minimum, my medical bills were going to be paid, and these fuckers were going to be reprimanded in some form. Okay? Well, here we are. 19 days I have to get a claim in on these guys. I have no idea. My attorney said he put a claim in. So he finally contacts me a couple months ago after me pretty much demanding, hey, let's talk. I need to figure out what the hell's going on. Okay, so, and I'm sorry, I know this is a lot to take, but I really want you guys to understand me and my intentions. Okay, so he informed me the last time I talked to him, it was on a conference call with my wife, who was in New York at the time, that it just seemed like he was hemming and hawing a little bit about, oh, well, what if they say you're an ambulance chaser? Ambulance chaser? What if you're out there trying to get a lawsuit? Really? So I asked my attorney, have you watched any of my videos? Have you seen me trying to get a lawsuit on anyone? Have you seen that? So I was a little concerned then because he hadn't even watched the video. And then he told me, he said, well, I'm gonna decide in the next couple of weeks when your wife gets back into town in June. We'll figure out if we're going to take the case. But if we're not going to take the case, I will find you some attorneys that will take the case. Okay? Simple. And I told him, I was like, dude, you got to trust me. My body of work speaks for itself. This was not, I did not come out here to have this happen to me. Who comes out to a place to have a fucking stroke? To make a little bit of money, okay? So at that point, I started realizing, oh shit, he's hemming and hawing, but he's probably not going to take the case, but he's going to get me someone who will take the case. But guess what? Andre Wharton ghosted me. Now, Andre Wharton, I talked to you a couple of times, and we seem to get along very well. And I said great things about you, and I want you to know that I still feel that you're doing good stuff. Your civil rights work is good stuff. But to just take my case and throw it to the back like that, until now, there's nothing that's going to be done. And I know that, okay? And I've taken a lot of time. I've taken the last month or so to really digest this. What am I going to do moving forward? Well, one thing I can promise you that I'm not going to do is stop doing this. If anything, they've made me a warrior. I'm going to be out here doing this much more because it needs to be done, because these idiots don't know what the hell they're doing. And yeah, I called you idiots. If you don't know a basic civil right of First Amendment, freedom of press, freedom of speech, then you don't need to be on your job, okay? You need to be on a desk somewhere. You need to be in a Wendy's working, okay? You don't need to be with a gun and a badge. You got that, buddy? And it's not your job to tell me what I do with my life. As the cop, the sergeant dressed me down, told me I would get my ass kicked doing this in Memphis. He told me I come out here and do it because you come out here and do it because it's all white people. You know that they won't beat you up out here. Well, let me tell you something, Sergeant Christian. I've been doing this now for 1.5 years, and I will tell you straight up, I feel safer in my city, which Cops have never accosted me. They always understand what I'm doing. I've never had an issue. And the people of Memphis never had a problem with any of them. I might have some run-ins, but we talk it out. That's what we do here at Gen X Press, okay? We talk it out. So for you to fucking tell me that I shouldn't fucking be out here doing this or I'm gonna get myself killed, thanks for the concern, but guess what? Fuck you. I'm gonna be out here doing it. If I get killed doing what I'm doing, then I get killed doing something great for this country. You got that, buddy? Okay. So back to Wharton. So Wharton has kind of, you know, I've had to come to terms with the fact that my medical bills won't be paid. Nothing's going to be paid. These fucking cops, these motherfuckers, I'm going to call them what they are. They're pigs to me. You know, when you act like that, that's what I'm going to call you. Otherwise, if you're a good cop, I'm going to highlight you. And I'm going to make you look good on camera. I'm sorry. I didn't know I would get this emotional out here. I knew that I would be somewhat emotional. But you never know until you actually step onto the area where something happened, you know, for the first time since it happened. And I'm sitting here looking at an area where I laid down right here and could have potentially died and felt like I thought I was going to die. And it's traumatic. It's kind of rough for me. But you guys are here with me, and we're turning the page today because we're closing this shit down, okay? If I get contact with any of these cops, we're going to figure out whether or not they're going to try to enforce their illegal trespass. And then we're going to talk to them about why they did what they did that day, what happened, why I was never contacted back by anyone. And I'm going to let them know, hey, you think you got away with this, okay? You think you got away with this. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of my viewers know I'm an agnostic person. I'm a very spiritual person, okay? And I believe in karma. And I believe that karma can sometimes be slow. Sometimes can be slow. Karma can be slow. But it's going to come to you guys, okay? If you want to come out here and have a face-to-face with me and chat with me about your actions that day and what you did to me, I will talk to you man to man. I will not cuss you out. We will have a real conversation, okay? However, if you decide you're too big of a pussy to do that, I'm going to let you know. Will I be harassing you? Absolutely not. I don't do that. These terrible cops will get their karma, okay? It's coming. I will continue to be out here forcing accountability on these people, okay? Because nobody else is going to do it. If you think because they have on a body cam you're safe, you're wrong, because they can do whatever they want to with that body cam. They can edit the footage, they can take things out, they can turn the audio off, they can turn the body camera off. Why that's even an option, I have no idea. How are you going to have body cams if they're not automatically turned on at every call that you go to? And if they're turned off for any reason, you should be fired. You should be held accountable, because the only reason you would be turning them off is because you don't want someone to see what you've done that's illegal. Okay? So, I'm not the type of person that's going to hold a grudge against these three cops, okay? I personally am not going to be able to do anything about it. I'm not going to be able to hold them accountable for what they did to me. However, I'm not going to let it run my life anymore, okay? I'm moving the fuck on from this, because this has occupied my last year. So this is a big move for me to be out here. Now, I'm done with all the gabbing for now, and I'm going to go ahead and set up the camera over here off the property. I'm actually going to go over to the other side where their people come in, so that the Karens can see me and get their little feelings twisted and have the cops come out here, because we're going to have a day of reckoning today. That's what we're here for. So let me just get over here. Now I want you all to see I'm recording it all. I'm not on their property. They do not have a public sidewalk here, so we'll use right here. You see, I'm right next to the road to get over here to the other side. Now, this is Arlington, which is full of Karens. So this shouldn't take too long for them to call the cops. Of course, now that I say that, it'll probably take 4 hours because the cops won't want to come over here and talk to me because they know who I am. So needless to say, I'm going to cut out a lot of this video, but I'm not going to cut out the important stuff. Cut out the important stuff about my case and just getting it completely out there as to what happened to me, you know, and why people don't understand what was going on with the case. Now you do understand what was going on with the case. I foolishly assumed that a civil rights attorney had my back. But apparently I wasn't important enough to even get a call back to let me know, hey, if you call me back and let me know, you know what, man, I'm not going to take your case. Even if you don't have an attorney for me, that's okay. I needed to know in advance. I needed more advance so I could find an attorney. I needed more time, and you didn't give me that time. So for that, I'm not happy with you, Andre Wharton. But here, I just got back from St. Louis with my beautiful wife, and we went to a Ghost concert. I don't know if you know anything about that band, but they're a very, very positive band. They're all about love, even though they look like they're satanic. They're all about peace and love, and the people all around me, I really needed that concert for a boost of confidence. And then on the way home, you know, when you do these things, you feel like all your subs may be cops. You know, I thought, how many of my subs are actually cops or how many are real people? And yesterday, I haven't checked in with you guys in like a month. And yesterday on the way home, I was like, let me do a live stream just to chat with some people, you know, just to chat with some people. So my live stream was terrible. It kept cutting out. However, when I was in that live stream, I had several people, several names I've never seen before, who told me flat out, I'm a big fan of yours. And to whoever those people were yesterday who told me that in my live stream, I want you to know little actions sometimes have a big impact, okay? And you impacted me. You made me get up I was like, I'm getting up tomorrow morning when I get back into town, and we're going and we're taking care of this post office business, and we're getting it out of our lives. But you guys gave me the strength and courage and motivation by telling me that you're a fan of mine, and you're not a cop. I appreciate that. It makes my heart swell. By the way, I do have my press pass today, just in case they, you know, when they do get here, I can run that by them. But yes, so thank you guys, the ones who have been supportive. I love you very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I feel the love, and you're going to help me get through this, and we're going to get through it together, and we're going to move on, and we're going to continue to be a thorn in bad cops' side. Good cops are going to love us because we're going to highlight them. But the bad cops, they're not going to. You ever wake up and wonder if you're even fucking living in America anymore? I mean, it's happened way too many times for me especially this year. This year's been crazy. Rights taken away left and right. Left and right. Let's hear about the new homeless one that Trump's putting into place here. Yeah, he's going to make it where if they talk to a homeless person, they can decide whether or not that homeless person has mental issues, and they can lock them up and throw away the key. You know what I mean? They can disappear homeless people now for being homeless if they even talk to them the wrong way, in a way that they seem as not acceptable. Like maybe you have a screw loose up here or something. That's their latest tactic. And if that don't scare the fuck out of you, even if you hate homeless people, it should scare the hell out of you. Because, I mean, this is America. You can't just come up to somebody and disappear them because you don't like them being in your city. And some people don't. Some people choose to live another way. Some people don't want to. They don't care. They want to be homeless. Have you ever thought about that? That maybe some people don't. That's not their goal in life, is to pursue money. Maybe they're perfectly happy where they're at. Okay, but now they've got to be worried that if they say one word that sounds crazy, that they're going to get disappeared. The brown shirts are coming for you. We got to wake up, guys. This ain't my country, man. In my country, we might not agree with each other, but we will defend someone's right to say something to death. You will defend it. I might not like what you have to say, but I will defend your right to say it. That's what America used to be. And we're going away from that, sadly. There you go. Livercheese here. We're going to go inside and we're going to try to figure out whether or not my trespass is legal from the post office just around. Let's see if they answer my call. Hello? Yeah, I need to come in and file a complaint, please.
Sir, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I need to file a complaint, please.
Sir, you can come on in.
Okay, thank you. Hey, man. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I need to write one more thing down for you. I'm sorry about that.
So y'all aren't going to give me somebody to talk to?
Well, what I'm saying is that they'll take complaint at...
I want to talk to somebody. I already did that. I already went downtown. Are you talking about the downtown place?
No,
I've already done
no,
it.
No, sir.
That's Madison Avenue.
Midtown, more or less.
Are you talking about the sheriff's department? I've done it. I've done it. I just want to talk to a higher up. I need to get some things.
I'll give you their telephone.
Okay, but I've already done that, and I never got a response from them. So I mean,
Now, they're the ones that
They're the ones that I requested the body cam footage,
Yes, sir.
everything. Never got any response from them.
Yes, sir. Would you like me to write down the telephone number to Debbie Fessington?
I would really just like to talk to someone today. I want to hash this out and explain to them they have a illegal trespass on me for the post office, which is illegal, and I need to talk about that because I have work to do.
Well, that type of complaint that you have, they don't have a deputy to do, quote, report for you on that.
I don't need a report. I just want to talk to somebody face to
And what they're
face.
going to tell you is to go to Bureau of Professional Standards and Integrity.
Okay.
Instead of
And you're being civil with me and you're doing what you're supposed to do. I get it. However, I'm trying to explain to you that every time that I've reached out, no one has contacted me back. Very frustrated because I have an illegal trespass on a place I need to get to do my job.
Well, if you want them, you can call them this 700 number down, and you can tell them that you'd like to speak to a supervisor because of your one visit that you
But no one wants to talk to me face to face right now. I'm not a threat to anybody.
Yes, sir.
And here's the thing, how you guys proceed, if you want to talk to me, dictates whether or not I civilly sue 3 of your officers, one of them being a sergeant, Christian. So I want man to man to work. I am not after money. I am after accountability over something that happened on a certain day. I need an apology. I had a stroke that day and almost died because of the incident. It's on YouTube.
Well, what I was going to tell you is not that.
I mean, we're all still humans. Can't somebody just talk to me?
What I'm saying is, what? So the deputy that you had the incident with, their lieutenant or
Sergeant Christian, Deputy Lopez, and Deputy Bartlett.
okay, so to be higher ranked than the sergeant is a lieutenant.
Yeah.
So to have the lieutenant or someone higher, like captain or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
they're just going to tell you to go to the Bureau.
Well, I know they can tell me that, but I want, as a human, to interact with another human to try to rectify this situation. It should not happen to anyone else, ever, what happened to me that day.
Okay.
I had a lawsuit
Okay.
with Andre Wharton was my attorney. Now, he got cold feet and shuffled off because he's afraid of what can happen to him for a lawsuit against the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. So now I have medical bills for the rest of my life. This hand doesn't work. These fingers don't work. I was an artist. I cannot draw anymore. I cannot write music anymore. And I'm a little frustrated because I'm not being heard by anyone. That's as plainly as I can put it. I have this camera for my protection because I was assaulted by those police officers. They cuffed me. They detained me. I consider that assault when I did nothing wrong, and had a stroke immediately afterwards. So when I deal with police, I know that there's a lot of good police officers, but there's also bad ones, okay? So this, I have to have recording anytime a police officer talks to me because I PTSD over what happened that day. It should have never happened. My life was changed because of it, and no one will reach out to me. And I feel helpless.
Okay, I'm sorry. Give me just a minute, okay?
Yeah, just a face-to-face with somebody. I mean, I'm not a threat in any way. Guys, we try and we try and we try. I mean, I just want a conversation. And if they want to apologize, then that would be great for me. But if they don't want to, that's okay too. But they have to know that that day can't happen like that again. You know, it's just unacceptable. It should not happen to anybody. So, and she's trying to give me a number to a place I've already been and filed complaints. I mean, they have literally, I saw outside the dozens, if not, I don't know, 50, 30 Shelby County Sheriff's Department in the back, changing into vehicles to go out and patrol for the day. I've seen them. They're all over the place. And I can't have one human who wants to have a face-to-face conversation with me. And you wonder why lawsuits do happen. You know, if a citizen feels like he's not heard, then that's what they do. They file that lawsuit to be heard and to have that person held accountable who did those things to them. So I think I explained myself clearly, and I think she had a little empathy for me. But I'm not a threat to anybody, and if we can sit down man to man and talk about this, instead of having everybody thinking that I'm an enemy out there trying to target police and get police into trouble and things like that, I'm not. I'm not. I want to spotlight the good police, the good sheriffs, the good deputies. I want to spotlight the good ones, okay? To me, I know you guys love the videos where, you know, you get to see Livercheese bantering with people, and and we have our little talks, and we may disagree, but in the end, most of the time we come out at least understanding one another, and if that's all I get, again, it was never about any money. It was never, if everybody out there claiming I'm trying to chase a lawsuit and just sue to make a ton of money. You don't know me. You don't know me as a person, okay? Money means dick to me, okay? I don't care. If I never have it, as long as I'm surviving and I'm surrounded by people that I love, then I'm a happy individual, okay? Other people in life might not be on that same level or same wavelength, and that's okay. That's okay. But in the end, we all have to sit down and communicate with each other, man to man. And I feel like if I could have one single solid conversation with a higher up here, we could come to an understanding, and we could move forward.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was gonna tell you that I don't have anyone available.
Okay.
Kept it right down.
Okay.
Because I was trying to see if I could get you a lieutenant or a captain.
Okay.
But, I think the only thing I can suggest is to call the cadet again and just tell them that you've already been there so-and-so day, and you want more help.
And
you want to speak to
I want to clarify to you, this is not, I don't know how much you know about First Amendment auditing and all that. You might not know anything. I might be throwing a ton on you right now, and it might be like, whoa, and I get that. And I don't tell many people that story, but I needed to tell you because I can tell that you can see I'm a little bit frustrated, okay? It is nothing about a lawsuit or trying to get anything, because there's not going to be a lawsuit. There's not going to be a lawsuit. I just want to know that they understand that what happened that day probably shouldn't have happened, and they kind of understand it's probably not going to happen again. Okay, so I appreciate you trying to find me someone, but what's probably going to happen is I'm going to walk out, I'm going to go to City Hall, and I'm going to record where I can legally record. And there's a really good chance, I don't know if y'all do dispatch here, but there's a really good chance that y'all are going to be getting a lot of calls about me today doing a legal thing. So if that's the way they need to come out and I need to talk to them, I'm not doing it to get them out. I'm just doing it because it's a First Amendment protected activity. Okay? But I'm letting you know right now that I was at the post office earlier. I was not on the property. I was in the front because I respect the law. But I will be going next down to to City Hall to record inside in places I can record. I'm always legal. I don't go beyond anything that says you can't record over here. You're a public official, so I'm allowed to record you because you're a public-facing entity, and you seem okay with it. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that this doesn't scare you the way it scares a lot of people. So thank you for that. But I, as a citizen, am letting you know that what I plan to do, and if they do want to come out and talk to me and have a conversation about it, we can do that. I'm not in a argumentative mood. I've been angry. I've been through all those emotions, and I'm at the point now where I want to move on. But I don't want the Shelby County Sheriff's Department to think that I'm an enemy of them, because I'm not. I'm not an enemy. When I record my videos, if I get a good cop who understands what I'm doing and leaves me alone or even thanks me for what I'm doing, I highlight them. All my YouTubers see that good cop. So the ones who think we're just trying to get bad cops, well, if we catch a bad cop, then, it's just a camera. It's just going to see what it sees. I just want them to understand I'm not an enemy to you guys, okay? I'm not. And I will highlight good police. So, and that's what's so frustrating. I just want someone to hear me, and talk to me for a minute. And you've done everything you can. I'm not saying that you are not doing something because,
Well, the only thing I can suggest.
You're fine. You don't really have to
call them again.
Yeah, and I'll do that. I'll take that from you because you.
For short.
Yeah.
And just let them know that you like to speak to a supervisor.
Absolutely, and
that you were told that,
okay.
by us that you will can voice.
Yeah, absolutely. And
complaint with them in this.
Yeah,
case.
Absolutely, ma'am. And I want to.
Yeah. Have a deputy come to do.
Yes.
Type of memo
Yeah,
or
and
anything like that. It's to go to that particular division to voice the complaint.
Well, I mean, if you just pass it along that the guy seems like I'm not a threat to anybody, but I want you. I'm glad you listened to me unload on you today with the situation, and I just hope that maybe you can take something away from it. Okay. I don't think that these are bad guys. I think that sometimes they get questioned with questions they don't like to hear. And if they're not controlling the narrative, sometimes it can go sideways. And that's normal. That's with any job. No one likes to be heard, you're wrong. But guess what? I'm wrong 100 times a day. When I'm wrong, it means I'm learning. It means I'm growing, okay? I admit when I'm wrong, okay? And that's all I want to convey to you today, okay? And I appreciate you taking the time and doing what limited things you can probably do for me, okay? Okay, so I appreciate you. I'm not going to ask your name, but thank you for listening to me today, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Bless you, too.
Thank you. All right. Okay, guys, so we got a number. That's what they do when they don't want to talk like a human face to face with you. I am in a very unique frame of mind today. I'm very open-minded, okay? I want to resolve this issue. I want to prove to everyone out there that this was never about money, has never been about money. It's not about anything else but making sure that somebody who does something that's illegal to a citizen and violates their rights, that they're at least held accountable in some way. Shit, I don't care. Write them up. You know what I mean? Write them up. Just tell me that, that was fucked up what they did to you that day. That was really fucked up what they did to you that day. So, but they'll never admit they made a mistake because they think that if I have them on camera saying, yeah, I fucked up, I think that if I have them on camera saying, yeah, I fucked up, that's going to give me sauce or juice for a lawsuit. It's just not the case. It's not the case with me, okay? It is not. It's never been about that. I want a real human interaction to see a cop say, you know what? Maybe I could have handled things differently that day. If they want to be humans and say, you know what? I'm sorry I fucked up that day. Hey, you got my word right here on camera in front of the entire world. And if there's one thing Livercheese is, it's fucking honest, okay? So you have my word that if you want to come talk to me man to man, we can hash this out verbally, the way problems should be handled. And even though my life has been completely changed, I will move on from that, okay? It would give me a whole lot of ammo to move on. It's not about trying to get you in a gotcha moment, okay? I can say it 100 times and you're still not going to believe me. But I know me and I know my intentions, and my intentions are not to sue someone and get rich, okay? My intention is to try to fix what's going on in this country with a lot of things, you know, and it starts with communication. And when you refuse to communicate with me because you think that I'm going to sue you because I know you fucked up, part of me can understand that. But you just got to trust people sometimes. Sometimes you just got to look at somebody and say, you know what? This guy has a good aura. I'm going to trust him, what he says. And let's have a talk. And then maybe you can feel better about yourself too. Because you'll know that I'm not holding any ill will or anything like that. We've just clarified what went on that day. That's it. That's it, people. It's just such a frustrating thing when you want to be the bigger man and talk about it, you know, and they don't care. They don't. It doesn't matter. You're nothing to them. You mean nothing to them. That's how we feel. That's how I feel. And if I do mean something to you, and you do feel bad about that day, and you do want to talk about that day, let me know. Let's do this. Let's talk. Please. All right. I'm going to go over here. I did tell her that I was going to head into City Hall. And I told her I was going to be perfectly legal. Nothing was going to happen. Calm down. Relax. But if that's the way I need to get them out to have a conversation with one of them, then so be it. Me doing my scary filming in public. So I believe we go right over here. I'm gonna shut the camera off for a second. I have to delete some footage to free up some memory here.